Hey guys, so I promised I'd send a video guide when you commented funnel on my post today of how you can, any one of you can, create a 6 and 7 figure online business, coaching, consulting, e-commerce, it doesn't matter. Now, the first thing is you've got to decide to do this. It is an internal game. The greatest battle that you have is always your former self, an existing mindset if you are not getting what you want. And the reason, if you have made the decision, but you go and do that and you make excuses or you doubt yourself, is because you're listening to your present self and former self who has not got those results that you actually want. And you're listening to excuses that become more powerful than reasons to actually do it, okay? So the most powerful action that you can take is to lean into courage. At every gap of doubt, every gap of hesitation, you've got to lean into courage as the first response to any place where you feel you're not capable of doing it. Now, courage is the first thing, because courage is an intention and it's also an action that gets you to take something and do something. So, for example, courage enables you to stop doubting yourself and actually do something about it. So the first thing is courage, because courage is an action that leads to another action that leads to another action. But what action should we be taking? Of course, if we're leaning in with courage, you need to ask questions. How can I succeed in this process of learning how to create a 6-figure coaching consulting business online? Because we now have AI. When I started doing this, there was no AI even 2 years ago. When I started in 2021 after the pandemic, there was no such thing as AI. It was getting there, but nowhere near what you're seeing right now. So I did this without AI. I didn't do any advertising. I didn't do anything like that. What I decided to do was go all in with courage. And yes, I doubted the crap out of myself, because although I'd been successful before, speaking on stage, selling courses, selling events, I was never successful online. I'd never made that jump. But when COVID came, my hand was forced. Although I'd semi-retired, I wasn't really happy and fulfilled not doing anything. So I decided I had to do something. So I knew I had oodles of courage, but I had a lot of doubt, because there was some doubt in me thinking that, this online game only young Gen Zs can do it. I don't have the technical skills. I don't have the skills to do content, create the right messaging, all kinds of stuff, right? But those were just doubts. And I realized, hang on a minute, I had to stop giving them a place. I had to stop giving those doubts a voice, right? So what I did is I got some of my own money and borrowed some money. And the first thing I did is I hired a coach that had actually got the result that I wanted. And I know you've heard it time and time again, but I'm telling you right now, without that coach, actually 2 coaches, without those 2 coaches, there is no way that I would be doing what I'm doing now. And there was no way that I would have received all these $1 million awards that I celebrated today in the post. Now, I spent $50,000 on those 2 mentors. I spent $50,000 on those 2 mentors. One of them was able to give me a framework to develop my high-ticket core product. And when I started, I had a 12-week program that I sold for $3,000. And my program was basically for other coaches of how to get clients, right? Now, I didn't have any clients at that point, but I'd had clients in the past. So what I used my own story of overcoming problems that I'd had in the past, such as doubt, such as having no money, such as trauma, unresolved childhood issues, being bullied, all that kind of stuff. So I just talked about myself, and I talked about what I had achieved, right? And I started building an audience. And now I already had an audience before then, but that audience was all South American, because I used to do a lot of speaking tours in South America. None of them speak English. None of them spoke English. I had 200,000 followers. Most of them were was speaking Spanish or Portuguese, so I didn't really have an English following. And I lived in Malaysia for 22 years, which meant even more so I didn't have really that English following or the Western following. So I paid those coaches. The first one I learned about a framework, how to develop a framework for a 12-week offer where I learned to create an acronym. And my acronym, my offer was called the Online Success Formula. So the word success was the acronym. The S stood for story, the U stood for you brand, the C stood for competence, all these kind of things. But I created a framework, and in that framework, I only put tools in there that I was embodied with wisdom that I could educate other people how to do it. I could coach other people how to do it, right? So I developed my high ticket offer, $3,000, 12 weeks. And what I did is I got another coach, hired another coach to teach me about how to message on my content to get people to respond to my posts with a call to action. And one of the first things I learned was to develop a post called the 5 Guys post. For example, I am looking for 5 people who want to make $10,000 in the next month for their online business. Now, when I created that 5 Guys post, I had about 60 to 70 responses. And I reached out in the DMs and I booked all of those people on a call. In fact, every one of them booked a call with me. But what I didn't understand is that I booked those calls 3 weeks in advance and people forgot about the calls. So I took some calls, but the rest of them forgot. So a lot of it was a waste. But the great news was I made $12,000 in my first month just on one post. Now, the other thing I learned from this particular coach is I learned to do cold outreach. And what that means was my content was not getting enough leads, right? So although I was doing content every day, I wasn't getting enough people to respond to it. So what I learned is I learned a messaging script to find people on Instagram that would love my services of me coaching them to help them get clients. And I used to send 100 messages a day on my own. No help. I had no staff. It was just literally me on my own. So do you remember I said about leaning into courage, right? That made me do the things I had to do by sending the actual message, but I knew the script, right? And it was very repetitive. It was very, same thing all the time. But eventually I started getting responses. And because I'd learned how to respond to a certain response from someone that I never met before, I was able to get people, not all of them, but I was able to get about 5 to 10 people on an appointment with me a week where I used to take the sales call, right? And initially I didn't get any sales because I didn't know how to close them. So I learned from this person a sales script how to convert people on the phone call. And I started getting like 1 or 2 sales a week, right? Some of them would take payment plans. About 20% would pay in full, okay? Then what I did is I developed a webinar. So another coach I paid taught me to create a webinar where I would be able to showcase my story, my unique method of doing what I do, my framework, my social proof, because I had actually done free coaching for a while and got some testimonials, and my vibe. And I started doing webinars, and they would last between 45 minutes and an hour. And at the end of the webinar, I would ask people, say, listen, this is what I can do for you. And if you're interested, I've got some slots available right now, like 5 slots to get on a call with me in the next few days. I don't normally do these calls myself, but I'm opening these slots up. And that built excitement and urgency. And I was able to get more people on calls with me. And I still didn't have any staff, by the way. Now, I did those webinars for about 18 months. And I made over $1 million on those webinars. No advertising, people getting on a call with me, etc. Now, after the first 6 months of me doing all the cold outreach, I decided I needed to scale because I wasn't able to have the time to get people onto a call with me because I was sending too many messages out and booking appointments. So apart from my virtual assistant, who was my first hire, that cost me $500 a month. That's what I still pay now. The best staff I've ever had, does all the admin for me. I asked my son if he would like to have a go. and I paid him a bit of a basic, but I gave him a bit of a bigger commission. And initially I gave him, I think I gave him like £400 a week and 5% commission or something like that. And I've increased his commission, by the way. Now he now gets way more than that. He makes between £10,000 and £15,000 a month, or between $15,000 and $20,000 a month, just by setting appointments. Okay, so he was able to take all that time off me and make the appointments, and he still does it now, right? The difference now is that I'm advertising now. He used to do the cold outreach. So the cold outreach, he would get about, 3-4 appointments a day. And then, we'd get like 1 or 2 sales. We get like 2 to 3 sales a week. Payment plans and people paying in cash. So the income started to increase to like 30 to 40,000 a month USD. Happy days, right? Happy days. And of course it dipped, it went like this, because obviously I wasn't advertising, so I was reaching out blindly to cold people. But because Instagram's tool is so powerful, I was able to find people, and I was able to find a way to find certain coaches that didn't have a bigger following, that were having difficulty getting clients, and I was able to bring them into a conversation with me. And the magic, and the reason I made 7 figures, is because I was able to get into a conversation with complete strangers by not trying to sell them anything initially, just by asking them, where they are in the business right now, and offering like free help to get on a consultation call with me, right? When I built rapport with those people, I was able to get them on a sales call with me and go through a sales script. Now, the sales script I bought from the other coach, $25,000 coach, right? Fantastic script, converted really well, okay? Happy days, really, really worked. So the cold outreach was really laborious, repetitive, but it made a lot of money. It was just a lot of repetitive action because my son was working 6, 7, 8 hours a day trying to get the leads in to do this, okay? So that's what made the first million. That's what made the first million. Now, the other thing that I should mention is that your offer is the most important part of your business as an online entrepreneur. So my high ticket offer then, that I started selling for $3,000, I now sell for $15,000, and more people buy it. And the reason more people buy it for a higher price is because of my personal brand. So personal brand is everything today, more than anything else there ever is. Because if you think about it, after COVID, there was a lot of coaches coming online that had never coached before, didn't even have a certificate. I've not even got a certificate in coaching, but I've had a lot of experience in coaching salespeople over the years. In fact, I wrote a #1 best-selling book, Close the Deal and Suddenly Grow Rich, which, by the way, you should all get because the reviews are from the top people in the industry. Marco Robinson is a Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar of the sales industry. He's up there with those guys. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet. That's what the reviews are like, right? So I had a bit of a track record, but not online. So that was the first $1.5 million. And I refined my offer. I was able to go and get the software to basically record all of my content in a learning software that they had a password for, which they could learn. And what I did is I coached once a week, and if they paid a bit more, I would give them VIP where they would get one-on-one access with me, which was fantastic. They saw the value. And the great thing is what I did is, as well as getting the sales, I leaned in to make sure that they got a transformation with their results. So while I was coaching, I was also and I still do this, I invest in other coaches to learn more and have more wisdom and more tools so I can get better transformations for my clients. I'm constantly investing in coaching. I spend between 5 to 10,000, probably 5 to 10,000 a month on coaching. Buying programs, buying courses, and getting my own mentoring from coaches in the game at the top level that are making $20 to $50 million a year, right? So what that does is that has a fantastic value for my clients because they get better results. So they recommend their friends and family and contacts. But when I'm able to share their testimonial, I ask them to leave me a video testimonial case study. I share that on my content. And that social proof is absolutely so powerful that it probably accounts for 50% of my sales right now. And anyone's sales, if you've got that social proof and those testimonials coming in, because it shows that what you're doing actually works, it's effective, it gets results, and it gets the transformation that people want, that are your ideal clients, right? And the other thing I should mention is you have to know who you want to work with. Now, obviously, your ideal client is who you are in the past, but it's more nuanced and refined than that, because who you are in the past is down to what specific problems you had to overcome with specific solutions. People want those specific solutions. And in your content, in your messaging, you have to call out the specific problems that people are having that you used to have yourself. You have to know exactly what your ideal clients are facing and what challenges and adversities that they're actually going through, so you can show them that you understand exactly where you are. And when you get the messaging right, you appear as an instant authority and the only solution for them. So they keep coming back to you. And even if you don't buy it first, if you have the right content strategy, if you have courage and you're doing it every day and you're consistent with it, they're getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And eventually, when you drop an offer that is irresistible, that solves their problem, they will buy it. And the hotter the audience, the more offers they will buy, and the faster they will buy them. Okay? There are even people out there right now with the credit cards waiting to buy from you. They just want to see what the next piece of content is that you're going to post. And there are people there with 5 figures, 6 figures waiting to pay you. High ticket buyers don't want cheap programs that are diluted for the masses. They want specific solutions to a specific problem. And they will pay you a lot of money to do that, even from one piece of content. Okay? So what I've learned is to get that content is your greatest weapon, and to create more of it, to create content that really solves problems. And even in your free content, when they come to your page, they're getting wins, because what you have to do is create lead magnets where you can give something away that's so good they'd actually be willing to pay for it. You know, so for example, this week I've created a 40-page document on how to get 1,000 followers a month on Instagram, guaranteed, right? I've created a lead magnet, 99 ways to get clients on social media. Right now I'm creating a lead magnet, how to go viral on social media. This is what you have to lean into as a coach, consultant, entrepreneur. You have to always be evolving at a way faster rate than your clients are, in the sense of that you're so dialed in that nothing will get in your way, and you're always one page ahead of any client that you're working with. People who are clients who pay you are paying you because they see that you're courageous. They see that you also invest in yourself, and they also see that you've got clients that absolutely love you. But more than that, they see clients that always stay with you. And the real test of a fantastic coach is, are those clients renewing? Are they buying the programs? All my clients buy all of my programs. So what my advice to you is create an offer suite, not just with 1 or 2 programs in it. I used to only have one program, one high ticket program. Now I've got like 15, 20 programs, but guess what? My clients buy all of them. They buy all of them because every single program is a part of me, which I've learned to turn into something of a success by creating a program and an offer which they can buy into, and it gets them a transformation, right? So your offer suite is not just an offer suite, it's a luxury tasting menu. My cheapest offer is $11. From that $11, I've got people upgrading to $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 offers. They have to get an experience. Even if people have got a lot of money, a lot of them don't buy your biggest package straight away because they've been burned before. Been a lot of fake coaches, a lot of charlatans out there who have not delivered. But when you do a cheap package, like a small package, you know, for example, I've got like a social media masterclass for like $11. I've had people buy that, had an amazing experience, and want to go all into my high ticket spaces. So you have to create the offers, you have to know how to launch them, and you have to know how to sell them. And one of the best pieces of advice I can give anyone is get on a sales course, because you need to be selling every single day that you are online and in your life. Because I can tell you, knowing how to sell will make you financially free. You'll never have to worry about money ever again. And with AI can help you create the offers, the nuances, the refinements that's completely embodied to you. But remember, the most important part of this process is who you are inside. And if you're willing to delay instant gratification, to invest in yourself and learn what you have to learn, but keep freaking learning. Because when you go online with something new, something evolved, you're going to be of the greatest value of anyone around you. You're going to be the authority people want to lean into. And when they get a win from you, they don't want to go anywhere else because they trust you. So they're going to keep buying more and more. And this is why you have to have other offers, because the more offers you have that are embodied with you, the more cash flow you're going to get. All right? So that's my video today. If you need help with your business, reach out to me after you watch this video and say, Marco, help. And I will find a way that we can get on a call and get your business kicking serious AWS. This is Marco. You have a fantastic weekend. All the best.